Win big with new DRF All Access past performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all 3 past performance formats. Go to DRF.com and use coupon code 1FREEPP for a free single card today.
Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a look at race number 6 at Belmont at the Big A on Sunday. It's one of 3 graded stakes races on the card. The rescheduled Grade 2 Miss Grillo going 1 1/16 on the turf for 2-year-old fillies, potentially a prep for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies turf. Before we take a look at the field, check out this deal for DRFTV viewers. 10% off all DRF past performances. Use the coupon code DRFTV10. Access now by using the QR code on your screen. Here's the field for the Grade 2 Miss Grillo. 12 entered in here, Mike. It's a fairly wide open race. Chad Brown has the 3 Virgin Colada. Might have been pace compromised when beaten at odds on in the PG Johnson at the Spa.
Yeah, ran very well last time in a stakes race. They come right back in another one here. I do think she's the horse to beat in this race, Dan. But, man, there are options if you're looking to play somebody else.
Let's throw up the Timeform US pace projector going 1 1/16. We're expecting this pace to be pretty quick. The 12 Marvelous Madison is stretching out off a 5.5 furlong debut victory. Not sure she's exactly a burner. The 5 Grayson Grits showed speed in a slow-paced race in her debut. She's got Will, seems very tactical. Scythian as well. I wonder how fast this pace will really get.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, listen, maybe stretching out and having post 12 doesn't really give too many options for Marvelous Madison, and maybe they'll just go and try to make the lead. And I guess if that happens, the pace will be fast. But I'm kind of with you. I didn't necessarily feel like they were going to be blazing up front, although there are horses who, sort of want to be forward. So I felt like the 4 Shifty was a horse who could be forward this time. We'll see how it all plays out.
That's the one I wonder will make the leader, not the 4 Shifty stretching out for Mark Cassie. If the pace is hot, keep an eye on the 1 Daisy Flyer, who has the fastest Timeform US late pace rating. And we'll watch Daisy Flyer's maiden win at Kentucky Downs, her second lifetime start for trainer Rusty Arnold. She was able to rally from off the pace in this race and likely gained a tremendous amount of fitness over this testing turf course.
Yeah, just nice improvement here in her second career start. Didn't really do that much running, I didn't think, in her career debut. Dan, she ran better here. She got an overall good trip in this race. She's very game to prevail at the end. Drew very well in this race, but I do think she's going to have to up her game against this field.
Salt was a maiden winner 2 starts back, going 3/4 mile at Woodbine, then couldn't step when Shifty, most recently when that one was able to get loose on a pretty easy lead. Maybe Salt will get a better setup here, and she certainly is bred to handle the extra distance.
I looked at her that way too. I mean, I guess her maiden win the first time on the grass was fine. I mean, I didn't think it was, a super compelling performance. She got a good trip and she got the job done. That race didn't set up great for her last time. I still wanted to see her run maybe a little bit better than that, but she is bred to stretch out.
Virgin Colada displayed a strong late kick to win her career debut at Saratoga and then run just fine. In the PG Johnson last time out, in between most of the way, angled 4-5 wide turning into the stretch, and is going to come with her patented late run to finish second. The winner just got the jump on her.
Yeah, and the winner's pretty good too. The winner had the best trip in the race, and Virgin Colada, let's just say she didn't have the best trip in the race. I mean, not only was the pace slow, but she got sort of caught behind horses and lost a spot on the backstretch and then had to sort of regain that position before she swung wide. All in all, Dan, I thought she ran really well in that race. And her debut was a serious performance. She got a good trip in that race, but she ran through the stretch when she was clear. I think she's pretty good.
Shifty showed much improved early speed in her second lifetime start. As a maiden, she ran in the Catch a Glimpse Stakes at Woodbine, going 6.5 furlongs. She was able to get to a very easy lead, 23-46 while untested, but she looks very strong in the stretch.
Yeah, very confidently ridden too. This was a pretty good performance. She did have all the best of it in this race, though, Dan. That gray there, sort of mid-pack, is the other horse exiting that race in her Salt, and she's just not really making up any ground here. She runs fine here. She looks good winning. I do think there's a chance she makes the lead in here too. See, these are all things that I considered, and it's like, Mark Cassie with his 2-year-olds are just winning everywhere. So I didn't want to totally dismiss this horse, but I also don't think I'm going to bet her. I think there are other horses that are way more interested. She's got the top figure in the field, though.
The number 5 is Grayson Grits. This is a New York bred who scored around 2 turns in her debut for trainer John Kimmel. Let's watch Grayson Grits. This was a very easy pace. They went 25 and change, 50 and 2, 15. Grayson Grits cruising on the lead and just keeps on going.
Just a really, really easy win. I don't, never really faced any kind of serious challenge in here, and she's just better than these horses. So they're going to take a shot here and run her in a way tougher race. She's going to have to run a lot better than this. And again, the only interesting thing about her is that she's just all dirt. Her pedigree is all dirt. But when she kept getting rained off at Saratoga, and Kimmel refused to run her on the dirt. He thinks she's a turf horse.
She's Got Will, the number 6, was a debut winner at Saratoga for Mark Casse. Dylan Davis gave her a nice ride in that debut. Aggressive with her early to save some ground, got to the outside, wore him down. She came back in this race at Kentucky Downs, the Kentucky Downs Juvenile Phillies, and she ran just fine again. She was pretty close to a solid pace, Mike, and she stays on for third.
I like this performance. I think she runs fine in here. You're right. She was forward in this race and the pace was solid. The closers are going to come for her now and she can't really fight them off. But it's not like she quits in this race, Dan. She was also pretty wide around the track. I mean, 3-4 wide all the way around the turn. I thought this was a good performance and I really liked her debut. I know she got a great trip in that race. I thought she ran really well that day.
RAR Art couldn't kick with Virgin Colada in her career debut, but I wonder if she just needed that race for Tony Dutrow. Second time out, she seemed a lot tighter. Let's watch that mile in a 16th event. And RAR Art again comes from the back of the pack, but I really like the late run she kicks in. I think Good Conduct, the horse on the lead, is pretty good, and RAR Art's able to get her in the shadow of the wire.
Yeah, I thought she ran well in this race too. And it was certainly a forward move. Her debut was fine. She wasn't as good as Virgin Colada in that race, but she ran fine in there. She runs better in here. Did have to sort of dig down deep to outfinish that horse to her inside, but that horse had already had a start too. I don't know, man. I liked everything about that last race, especially when you go back and watch the full replay. It looked like she wasn't even prepared for the start there. Didn't break that great, but still managed to overcome that. This really might be okay.
Scythian showed some speed on dirt sprinting for trainer Belmont. I thought that was a good sign leading up to her second lifetime start. And Scythian worked out a beautiful trip, stretching out under Junior Alvarado. She just sort of coasted in behind the two speeds on the backstretch and through the second turn. And once given clearance, she's a little bit green, but she's also pretty game.
Yeah, very game. Going to get the job done here. They better, like they expect her to improve in this race, and she did. I guess the most interesting thing about it, Dan, is that Mott elected to enter her against the boys to break her maiden, and she had no trouble with that. Not that that has to be any kind of a big deal. She got a great trip and she ran well.
New York bred facing older for the first time, facing open for the first time. The 9 is Annie Goodbody. I think they used that 5.5 furlong sprint against open maidens as a prep for this race, the second start where they dropped her into one of those auction maiden races. And Annie Goodbody took advantage of a pretty solid pace over a wet turf course. But I like the acceleration and agility she showed to get into the race on the second turn, and then she keeps on going.
I like that about this race too. I mean, we'll see, what it all means as they step her up into a way tougher race. But I just like the way she handled herself in this race, Dan, because she did move herself into position very early in the race and then just held up in behind the leader on the turn. And then when she was clear, I mean, she couldn't have won that race any easier. I mean, I didn't see anybody really closing in there. So maybe she just didn't beat a good field. I thought she looked good winning.
Lots to like about the 10 Lavender Disaster. She has a beautiful pedigree. She's obviously well connected, and she was bet to odds on for her debut at Belmont at the Big A, where, not surprisingly, she was able to get it done. And she's in behind horses here. She's got to sort of bull her way out. That's pretty telling for a first-time starter to have the experience and wherewithal to do so. And once she's in the clear, she gets it done.
Yeah, this is good stuff from this field. You're right. She had to push her way out of the clear. She runs this field right over in the last furlong. It doesn't really have to get down to serious business to do it either, Dan. This is a very good debut for a very well-bred filly. And I got to believe Chad probably pretty happy that he got the extra week for this race to go. So now we can run her back in here. I know it's only 3 weeks. He'd probably rather have even more time, but he gets to run her here and she gets to maybe earn her way into the Breeders' Cup. She looks good.
This is plan D now for the number 11 Coretto, who originally wanted to run in the Salima at Laurel, and that got washed off, and then wanted to run last week in the Miss Grillo, and it was washed off, and then was entered at Keeneland and had a pretty lousy post position on Friday. So Graham decided to run here, and guess what? Yeah. Post 11.
Unfortunate that she drew another terrible post in here. We'll see if she can overcome it. Based on her debut, don't be surprised if she can overcome it. This filly really ran in this race. She was alert from the gate. She conceded the lead. She sat right up close. This horse on the inside looks like a well-meant firster for Mike Maker. She flat overpowers her, and they are clear of the rest of that field. This is a really, really good debut. It's really unfortunate that she got a bad post, but she's bred to go on.
And Marvelous Madison should show a little bit of stretch out speed off her career debut against fellow New York bred sprinting going 5.5 furlongs. Now, she was betting this race pretty hard, 10-horse field. She's bet down to even money. The trip eventually is going to work out for Marvelous Madison, but she had to finish, and she did.
Yeah, exactly. She got bumped at the start of this race, so maybe she was even going to be even closer to the pace there, but she got bumped at the start, so had to sit a little bit, but came right on through on the rail in the stretch. She drives clear of these horses. Good performance. She's bred to go longer than this. So I won't be surprised when she handles the stretch. She's another one. She was pretty interested in this race at maybe a fair price. It's unfortunate she got post 12.
A wide open edition of the Grade 2 Miss Grillo. You can go so many different ways. Let's take a look at our top selections for this $200,000 affair. You've been waiting for Corretto to run. Maybe your patience will be rewarded. Post 11, I think she's tactical enough to work on a trip, and she is bred to be a nice turf distance horse.
Yeah, all those things I saw too. I wish she had a better post, but maybe she'll be able to overcome it here. And I do think she's going to be a fair price anyway. So I'm going to take her in here. I thought Virgin Colada, the 3, was the horse to beat. I didn't want to leave her out, but I felt like I could go in other directions looking for a better price. I'm going with the 11, and I'm using a lot of the other Chad, Lavender Disaster. I think she's going to be pretty good.
That's how wide open this race is. The only one we agree on is the 3, Virgin Colada. I liked RAR Art's slow step forward in the second Lifetime Star. I think there's something here, and this horse has to be a price, I think, with so many high-profile connections in here. Maybe RAR Art can kick at a price. 7-4-3-8 for me, 11-3-10-6 for Mike. It's the Miss Grillo, the second of 3 graded stakes at Belmont at the Big A on Sunday. Good luck. Hey, buddy, you look like you're in need of a winner. And just remember, if you like and subscribe right over here, you can get all of the great content on DRF.com, including Race of the Day, stakes previews, and lots more, featuring me and my superb selections. Trust me, you're not going to regret it.